So I'm going to be giving a speech on like April Fool's Day and why April Fool's Day is something that benefits the entire stakeholders, right, in today's speech, and also why the idea behind April Fool is one that seems to possess a positive impact to generate the stakeholders that are involved like in today's speech. So first off, I'm going to be giving what April Fool like generally looks like. April Fool's Day rather generally looks like. We think first off, April Fool's Day is not a day for harmless pranks and jokes, right? It's an important reason, which is first off, notice how it's an opportunity for individuals to have a good laugh at the times when they have certain kinds of problems like stress and other forms of problems arising from social and daily activities of a life. We think in status quo, we have individuals who are stressed out, we have individuals who like don't necessarily have a time to laugh and also the kinds of things, right? Meaning April Fool's Day is a day for individuals to ensure they better get things like fun and enjoyment, to ensure they better get things like comedy and all sorts of things that are much more likely going to benefit them at the end of the day. Hence, we think that the idea behind April Fool is not one that seems to like attack individuals, or is not one that seems to create a negative impact to individuals. We think then the idea behind April Fool is one that seems to possess a positive impact to generate the stakeholders which are involved. Hence, we think April Fool's Day is something that is better. Also, we think April Fool's Day is also a day of humor, right? It's just generally a day of humor. It's a day to create imagination. It's a day to be creativity. It's a day to be creative and have certain kinds of imagination that are absorbed and realistic, right? That are absorbed and ridiculous. We think then at the point a day like this, right, at the point where individuals are then going to, at the point where individuals are thinking of certain kinds of things that are much more likely going to prank an individual, we think then individuals can then be creative, individuals can then have certain kinds of imagination that are wide, that are broad, that are absurd and that are ridiculous. Hence, prank an individual. We think then individuals can then be creative, individuals can then have certain kinds of imagination that are wide, that are broad, that are absurd and that are ridiculous. Hence, we think this in turn seems to benefit them at the end of the day, because one, individuals can then be able to self-actualize, right? Meaning at the point whereby I would want to prank an individual today, of course I am much more likely going to think of certain kinds of things that make this person laugh. Meaning I then think of discover my talents, right? Meaning that I can then be able to create things like comedy and certain kinds of region. Hence, I am much more likely going to opt into comedy at the end of the day, because I am much more likely going to be able to create comedy that make people laugh at the end of the day. We think generally April Fool's Day is one that seems to like benefit the stakeholders involved in today's speech. A good example of April Fool's Day, we think in 1957 the BBC aired a hoax documentary about the spaghetti tree, claiming that the spaghetti grows on a tree, right, in Switzerland. The joke was so convincing that many people believed it was true, meaning that people tend to think about, oh, how can this happen? How can spaghetti grow on just a mere tree and all sorts of kinds of things, right? We think then individuals can then be able to be creative, individuals can then be able to imagine things that cannot even happen, right? Meaning better imagination is something that is created at the end of the day. We think then April Fool's Day is something that benefits like benign the stakeholders right in today's like speech. In recent years also, we think companies like Google have taken advantage of the creativity of April Fool's Day, meaning that one of the famous Google April Fool's Day, which is obviously true, was the announcement of Google Maps for MPS, right? The joke was that you could use your old Nintendo Entertainment system to console and to navigate the web, complete with a special cartridge and a class NES controller. While it was obviously not true, it was still a great example of how creative thinking can lead to innovation and fun at the end of the day. We think then April Fool's Day is something that seems to benefit like generally the stakeholders. Hence, we think it's a day for fun and enjoyment.